Men have thoughts at 2 a.m. on debt, money, and providing, the pressure of it all. But the quieter thought, which many men don't say out loud, is how they feel about what they're doing to provide for their family. I've coached many men in the past to talk about the 2 a.m. thoughts, and those thoughts usually around, those worries about those mortgage repayments, the worry about the car loan, the worry about the debt they owe, the worry about not earning enough money from their job to cover the expenses to provide a great life for their family. And these thoughts can really get into many men's head and keep them awake at night. But there's a thought which many men don't say out loud, and it's the real cause of it. You're paying off the debt, you manage to manage all that, you're managing your mortgage, you're managing your car repayments, but you're not actually aligned in what you're doing to be able to manage them. And you feel caged and you feel trapped because you've got to keep on doing that job or that business which does not align with you in order to cover the debt payments. And that is the thought at night, which is keeping most men awake, and something they'll never tell their wives, because it's like you've got to do it anyway. And this can make the man extremely lost and take them into the drift mode. So we call this the famous life trap. And I'm lucky enough that I've had people who have been my friends who have always been a lot older than me. So I've been able to witness firsthand their life trap and look at all places to avoid it. But I would speak to many men who fall into this life trap. You see, at the ages of in your late 20s, early 30s, you buy that nice house. Yeah, and then you buy the beautiful car, because this is what society, teaches success. Drive a beautiful car, have a beautiful house. And, debt becomes a habit. It's easy. The bank just handed you money. So then you go get a loan for a kitchen, or you get a loan for a holiday, and it just piles up. But it's okay, because you have that energy right then to work for that brand new shiny object. And then you hit 40 and you are crippling with debt, and you've got a family to provide for. You want to give them the best life possible. And you're feeling the pressure at 2 a.m., but you're doing a job or owning a business which you really don't like and doesn't align with you right now. But you have to do it in order to pay off the debt. And you're trapped because that mortgage repayment is going to go on for another 20 years. Yeah, you got loans for another 5 years. Yeah, it's a trap where you feel caged in and you feel like you're in prison, and it's really hard to get out of. So you just suck it up and get on with it. But while you're sucking it up and getting on with it, you're actually losing yourself. You're losing the true identity of who you really are and where you should be going. And you're not going to fulfill your full potential because you're stuck in this trap. You're not actually going to be doing the stuff that you really want to do because you're stuck in this trap. And all your focus is on is mortgage payments, debt payments, providing for my family, rather than living a good life of happiness. And these 2 a.m. thoughts can be crippling to many men, and they don't speak to their wives about it because they don't want to feel like a failure. They don't want to feel like they're failing. So most men just keep it to themselves and they just suck it up. But as they suck it up, they just drift further apart from life and from what they're really meant to do and from who they really are. So why do these thoughts happen at 2 a.m.? It would be really nice if they happened in the afternoon, because, you wouldn't be so tired the next day. It's because you spend all that time in the day being busy. Yeah, keeping yourself busy, avoiding the issues, avoiding the problems, working to pay the debt. And it gets to the evening time and you wake up and it's just you and four walls and your deep thoughts. And that's when it comes to the surface, and you can't head out to work, or you can't head out in your business where you could. But this is the reality of the situation. This is why it keeps men awake at night, is because that's when you're alone in your thoughts. And that's when it's just yourself and your thoughts. And that is when you really get to know each other. And that's when you identify the most problems. So it's easy enough just to go back to bed and shake it off and wake up the next day and hope it disappears, but it doesn't. And then the 2 a.m. habit becomes a habit. And there's something you can do to resolve this. So I'm not saying ignore the debt and don't be responsible about it, because it is extremely important that you don't ignore it and you are responsible for it. But is the debt really the problem? Or is it how you're paying for that debt which is the real issue. And that is something you need to identify if you want to move forward from this. If you want to start feeling better about yourself and start doing the things that you really want to do. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but if you focus on the debt being the problem, the mortgage repayments being the problem, or is it how you really providing to pay for that debt is the problem, that is when you will be able to move forward. Yeah, that is when you'll be able to align with yourself, you'll be able to pay your debt off responsible, but more importantly, you'll able to be happy. So if this resonated with anyone on this video today, please leave a comment in the comment box. You are more than happy to hear your story, and I reply to every comment. And I hope you're enjoying all the videos on the drift, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel.